Howdy everyone. Well, you can see that I've been working on the main landing gear. This is, I'm going to say it's assembled permanently. I really hope I don't have to pull the legs off, but if I do, it's no big deal. I'll come back to that in a minute. But I didn't videotape any of the assembly procedure because it really is incredibly simple. Even the instructions state how simple it is. The only things that you need to be aware of, which of course, when you go to do the assembly, you're going to figure it out on your own anyway. But just a heads up that these tubes on the inside of the engine mount itself, these tubes, they need to be cleaned out on the inside. Mine had like some leftover tape or something on them from when they did the powder coating. The powder coating itself got in there a little bit. The edges need to be deburred on the inside, just like any other metal that you work with, right? So just think of this as a tube that you need to prep for assembly. So clean it really well, deburr it really well, both ends, this end and this end. Remove any powder coating that may have gotten in there, things of that nature. And then do the exact same thing to the legs themselves. There's a boss area, if you will, a flat area. The legs are tapered, but where they meet with this tube, in this region here and up here, the tube is no longer tapered. It's a nice flat area all the way around to fit snugly inside the end here and here. The rest of the leg inside here is tapered. It's a smaller diameter. But the legs themselves need to be cleaned. They do a pretty good job at the factory, but those areas where they mate to this tube, they are not powder coated. So where the powder coat stops, there's a pretty big raised edge, and you need to knock down those edges on the powder coating. I used number 60 grit sandpaper by hand and just basically sanded back the powder coat until I can get the leg all the way up in there. It's not a big deal. It takes a little bit of time, but it's well worth it, because after I had cleaned up everything and sanded down those edges on the legs themselves, they slid right in and I had no issues. So I didn't think it was worth videotaping that. When you get to this point and you start on this operation, it will become very clear very quickly what needs to happen to get the legs to fit. So here is where I am currently. I'm still working on the horizontal stabilizer. I'm getting ready to stand it up and do the final epoxy on these pieces of foam that I stuck in these tips, but that will be a different video. I'll probably work on that tomorrow. What I think I might do later today, in order to get this engine mount landing gear assembly actually on the airplane, of course I have to lift the airplane up off the ground high enough to get the engine mount on it. And of course you can see there's not a whole lot of room between the front of the airplane and this cabinet. Once I get the engine mount and landing gear on, I'd like to actually install the brakes and the wheels and tires and those kinds of things. I would like to install the tail wheel, and then soon after that I may consider starting to hang the engine. Of course, to do all of that, this fuselage needs to be moved. So logistically, I've got a fuselage, a mobile workbench, main landing gear, engine underneath the cover. Then I've got this stand here with my DRDT2 dimpler, and then I've got both wings in a crate or on a cart type of thing. All of this is going to have to be moved around in some way, shape, or form so that I can get access to the very front and the very rear of the fuselage to do this landing gear stuff. I have options. I'm not concerned. It's just going to take some planning and some shuffling around. So potentially the very next video you see, this will all look different. The layout will be different, and I can potentially start installing the engine mount with gear legs and go from there. So that's the latest and greatest. I'm getting pretty jacked. It's exciting for me because there again, it's not. It's just something different. I've been doing avionics for a while. Been doing a little bit of fiberglass stuff. This is more like assembly work, which I enjoy. So, anywho, thanks for stopping in. I will talk to you guys later.